Chapter 11. In the Night. A shriek woke Leaf. He was on his feet in an instant, his hand on his sword. He had no idea how much time had passed. It was very dark. The lanterns had gone out. The sky was black. "Rodda!" he hissed. "Dane!" The two voices answered close beside him. His companions were also standing and alert. The shriek came again. Leaf realized that it was Cree. Cree was crying a warning. Where was Jasmine? He wanted to call to her, but knew he could not. No one must guess they knew one another. Sleepy, grumbling voices could be heard around the deck as the other passengers stirred. "It is only a bird, my love," the woman in pink mumbled. "Go back to sleep." For a moment, there was silence once more, except for the lapping of the water, the creaking of the boat's timbers. But surely, Leaf's ears strained. Surely, the sounds were not quite as they had been before. They were louder, and a slight bumping noise had joined them. Another boat. The thought had barely crossed Leaf's mind when all of a sudden the darkness around the deck rail seemed to move and thicken. He could hear heavy breathing and the tinny rattle of steel. The boat was being boarded. "Beware!" he shouted. "Defend your..." There was a roar of anger and a rush of feet. Someone cannoned into him, throwing him down violently. He hit the deck with a thump, striking his brow on the corner of something that chimed and jingled. The music box, he thought confusedly. He touched his head and felt trickling blood. Dizzy and sick, he crawled to his knees. Lockie the Strike was squealing in panic. The woman in pink was screaming and crying. Sounds of fighting filled the darkness. Leaf could hear crashes and groans, a blood-curdling yell, the splash of something heavy falling over the side. He could hear the clash of steel on steel. "Give us some light, you fool!" roared a voice. One by one, the lanterns began to glow once more. The polypen was grinning and chewing as he swung from one to the other. Gradually, a scene of horror was revealed. There must have been 20 invaders at least, men and women too, with knives, swords, and axes. They wore a strange array of fine and tattered clothes. Their wild hair was matted, their eyes glittering. Barda, his back against the deck railing, fought two of them. Dane was beside him, fending off a third. Lockie was cringing on the deck. The woman in pink, wailing helplessly, was clutching at the thin man who was shaking her off, crawling away like a long-legged spider looking for a hole to hide in. One of the card-playing men lay dead in a pool of blood. The other had disappeared. Over the side, no doubt, thought Leaf, remembering the splash. Of the captain, there was no sign. No doubt he was still locked in his cabin, and Leaf was quite sure that he would not venture out for the sake of a few passengers. He had not spent a lifetime on this dangerous river for nothing. Leaf staggered to his feet, feeling for his sword. He had to help Barda, but the deck seemed to be spinning. He could not move fast enough. With horror, he saw one of Barda's opponents close in, grabbing a lantern and swinging it into his face. Barda thrust himself backward to escape the flame. The deck rail groaned and began to split. "No!" cried Leaf, lurching forward. But the next second, the whole section of deck rail broke away. Barda, the pirate, and the lantern tumbled into the water. There was a tremendous splashing and bubbling, and silence. "Barda!" shrieked Leaf, stumbling to the gap. But no head broke the surface of the water. The lantern had gone out. All was darkness. Leaf prepared to jump. All he knew was that he had to save Barda, who was somewhere down in that black water. But with despair, he felt himself pulled backwards by grasping hands and thrown to the deck. "Not until we have picked you clean, boy," laughed the man above him, a man with a nose that reached almost to his chin and teeth filed sharp as knives. "The worms can have ye then." Everything was blurry. Stabs of pain shot through Leaf's head as he rolled and pushed on the deck. The cloak was ripped from his back. His sword and money bag were taken. The embroidered band was pulled from his waist. "No!" he moaned. scrambling to rise. A heavy boot kicked him in the ribs. "Finish him off, Finn. And the other one, too," screamed a voice. Finn. Leaf squirmed at the sound of the name. One of the names on the wall of where orders meet. "The other one is valuable," a deeper voice called. "He is with the Resistance. I have seen him with Doom. The guards will pay in gold for him. Alive." "See what I have found trying to creep up on us." A huge, grinning woman with streaming red hair came around the corner of the cabin, holding Jasmine in her brawny arms. Jasmine's feet were swinging high off the ground. She was kicking and struggling, biting at the hands that gripped her. But the woman took no notice. "Fine clothes for a fine lady," she roared. "Would I not look beautiful in these?" She tore off the purple scarf, and Jasmine's tangled black hair swung free. Then the woman set about tearing at the golden cord that bound the cloak around Jasmine's throat. There was a screech, and a black shadow swooped at her head.
Bird! Since you asked me so nicely, take it! But I gotta be honest with you, lady. I'm not sure we're quite the same size.
So you like to play games, pretending to be sweet as a kitten?
Meow!